Yeah.
Well, I heard that you're going to fly us on the Ronival jet from, right? You have a private plane now, right? I mean, you've been doing so well the last couple of years. I heard from a friend of mine that you also have, or is it? It's a helicopter, isn't it? It's the Ronival helicopter.
That is a joke. It's not a joke. It's a rumor that started that Ronival has a helicopter. We do not have a helicopter.
That is a rumor?
It's not true.
It's not true.
It's not true.
We are breaking the fake news here.
I thought that was your yacht out in there that had the helicopter on it. Did you see the yacht out there that was?
I wish, Korey. I wish.
Soon.
It's coming. It's coming, Nick. It's coming.
Welcome to the Nick Fong Podcast. As the broker and owner of Ronival Real Estate, Nick has spent nearly 20 years in Baja, California, sir. And in this podcast, he'll be talking everything Baja, from food and culture to real estate and property management. And now, here's your host, Nick Fong.
Welcome to Cabo Mil News Community Update in English with Korey Riggs and Claudia Velo in this 2023 edition brought to you by Ronival Real Estate. Our first 2023 edition, really, Claudia, because we had a little bit of a show last week on the first, but
we had an intro to the year. That was it.
And we had an intro to the year. That was it. But this is our first show. Welcome, everybody. We're so excited to be back. We're going to get into some news. We got lots of stuff to talk about. But first, we want to welcome Nick Fong. We're going to wait to the news for the next segment because we have Nick here. He's got all the news that we need anyway. Nick from Ronival, how you doing, man?
Doing very well. Happy New Year to you both.
Happy New Year.
We're very excited to have you back for sponsor for this year.
Yes. Exciting. And 2023 is going to be an exciting year in real estate here in the Baja. And I figured I'd talk a little bit about where I think the market's going to be going, and also a couple of events that are going to be happening between now and the next time I'll be on your show in February.
Great. Well, I think that's a perfect way to go. And I think we should start. Where do you think the real estate market's going, Nick? We've been waiting for this for a while to hear this from you.
Well, the real estate market was a roller coaster last year in 2022. A lot of us got desensitized to the fact that real estate prices were just continually going up. And when you put a property on the market, it's sold. And everyone was a real estate expert in 2022 and 2021. And now it's normalized. And in 2023, I think we're going to have more of a normal real estate market. And what does that mean? You actually have to work to sell real estate.
You actually have to do something.
I liken it to if you were at a summer festival and you were the only booth selling bottled water. And it was 100 degrees Fahrenheit outside, super humid. Well, it'll be easy to sell bottled water. Well, now the temperature has cooled. It's no longer 100 degrees out. It is a cool 80 degrees. And so everyone needs to get back to what it takes in a normal real estate market to sell real estate.
It's a cool 80 degrees and there's 10 booths selling water. That's good, right? There's a bunch of other folks out there.
Well, it's interesting, Korey, because that's so true. From developers' perspective, there's more new developments, there's more competition. And also, if you're a real estate professional selling real estate for buyers and sellers, you have more competition to get clients. And so it's an interesting shift that the same players involved even more, but there's less business to be had. And so what's going to happen in 2023 is those people that aren't willing to put the work in and do the right things to sell real estate, they're just going to go into other industries. They're going to leave Cabo. They're going to go into timeshare sales. They're going to teach yoga. I don't know.
I advocate for that, so that's okay. They can go teach yoga.
And 100%. And I think that there's going to be the shift that I saw in 2009, 2010 in our real estate market, where there's going to be a contraction in both the number of sales, the number of real estate professionals, the amount of business that's out there. And everyone is wondering what's going to happen to real estate prices. And I think that real estate prices are going to, for the most part, stay very stable. And in some communities are actually going to go up. With that being said, we are seeing more price reductions for those properties where owners, developers were trying to continue the pricing trend over the last 2 years, which is you see a property sell in a neighborhood for $1 million. Now you're trying to sell for $1,100,000. Well, that's not working these days. And so you have to be more deliberate. You have to be more educated in how you're pricing your properties.
One of the things I've seen, everyone I know now is selling real estate. I mean, all of a sudden they've decided to go and sell real estate. And I've also heard from a couple of my friends that there's a lot more brokerages all of a sudden, and there's just a lot more. Is that true? I mean, how are there just tons of new people that are here because they feel like they're going to make a quick buck? And I'm agreeing with you. I think they're going to fall off. I think that's going to fall away. But
yeah, it's definitely, there's a lot of great real estate professionals in our marketplace, great salespeople. And what the last 2 years taught these salespeople is that when the market is good, wow, if you're a good salesperson, you just make a lot of money. And that goes a step further with some of the salespeople to think, I'm going to set up my own brokerage. Heck, that's what I did years ago, right? But there's a dynamic to that where when you open your own brokerage, it's not just selling anymore. It's being a business owner. So that's monthly bills, it's personnel. There's a level of responsibility that's much different than just doing sales. And so that's the interesting thing that we did see in our market. A lot of solo agents set up their own brokerage. And it'll be interesting to see how that fares in the next 2 to 3 years.
And Nick, because of exactly this phenomena that we saw last year where everybody became a real estate expert, what have you seen are the needs or the way that the clients are choosing their broker? Is it the company? Is it the person? How do they find them? How can a prospective buyer make an educated choice in the broker that they go to?
Okay, so number one, for sure, work with a real estate agent that is licensed. I was just on a call with someone yesterday that was selling a project that is not licensed. And boy, that's a huge disaster. When we bring our buyer clients to projects like that, it's very, very dangerous for our clients to purchase in projects like that. So we always advise our clients not to purchase from projects where it's represented by no one really, because it's super, super risky. And so buyers right now, the best thing they can do is to work with a real estate professional that has number one, license. Number two is someone that has experience or works for a company that has experience behind them. So they have a great knowledge of where the market has been, where it currently is, and where they project it to be. And weekly, monthly, watching the market, because the market is shifting just like in the United States real estate market. And it's heavily, heavily tied our market to the US real estate market and where mortgage interest rates are.
Very, very important too. And also for the people that are coming to know this. So this is such good information. And speaking of last year, everybody kept talking about it was breaking every record. Was that what happened? Do you have the numbers? Are they in?
Yeah, the numbers aren't all in because we have usually a couple week lag. But what I saw in December is that we would, as a market, be pretty much in line with the 2021 real estate market. We saw a dip in our market overall in the MLS starting in the summertime. And that continued up until the last couple months. The last couple months of 2022, there was a rebound, and it started looking a lot like the 2021 respective months. And January, at least in my office, we're showing a lot of activity and scheduled activity for the next few weeks. So I think that November and December of 2022 is indicative of at least where the first quarter of this year is going to go, which is pretty much in line with 2022. So we'll see, Claudia. I think that in a couple more months, I think that's going to tell us for sure where the rest of the year is going to go.
Great. Well, there's definitely high hopes for this year and with all these new developments. And tell us about the developments that you're working with and that you see are good fit for different types of buyers.
Well, I'd like to make sure your listeners know about an event that we're having here in Cabo San Lucas on January 13th. So next week, next Friday the 13th, we're actually having an event from 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. It's our project launch of Rivieri. Rivieri is the project that we spoke about maybe 2 months ago on your show. It's a single family and duplex community. So it's not a vertical living type of community. It's very different. It's primarily 2-story structures, and it's been selling very well. We've been selling a lot of units over there, mainly because it's a product type that most developers were ignoring. They were ignoring single family dwellings, and there's a real need for that. And to have prices starting under $200,000, I think in February, those prices are going to go up pretty significantly if they haven't already. I have to check with my development manager, but January 13th. So if any of your listeners want to RSVP, just go ahead and email me, nick@ronival.com, and I'll make sure you get RSVP'd for the event. And it's going to be food and drink and music, and it's going to be a great event. Love to see you. You both are invited if you can both make it.
Thank you.
Love to see you there.
And where is Rivieri?
So Rivieri is in the heart of El Tezal. So it is, for those that don't know where El Tezal is, it is the fastest growing area in Los Cabos. It's on the tourist corridor, in the area of the corridor that we call the Cabo corridor, which is closer to Cabo San Lucas. And it's mountainside, and it's, most people say it's the area behind Costco. So
yeah,
everyone knows Costco.
Everybody knows where that is.
Everybody knows where that is.
Yes.
And do you go up through the road that you take to go to Ventanas?
Exactly. So
yeah.
So if you're coming from San Jose del Cabo, it's the road right before Costco. So you take a right up that road, and you go up the hill. There's a fork, take a left, and then you hit Plaza Nova, take a right, and you go straight for about a half a mile, and it's right there. But email me, nick@ronival.com. I can get you all the directions and make sure everyone is RSVP.
Take a left right after the Friendly Market. I love the Friendly Market.
Yes, yes, yes. Nothing like a shipping container convenient park, right?
Exactly. Very, very exciting. Very exciting.
Hey, thanks for being a part of the Nick Fong Podcast. Make sure to subscribe to the podcast to get the latest updates.
And if you're watching this on our social channels, please like and share. And if you want to be featured or you want me to talk on a certain topic, food, activities, culture, real estate in the Baja, drop a comment.
So that's one event. Tell us, I know you have another event coming up as well.
Yeah, this one is not until February, but
Okay.
depending on when we record our next monthly real estate update, this one takes place in Loretto. So it's going to be 5.5 hours north of Cabo Mil by car. You can also fly into the international airport of Loretto. Most people don't know Loretto, have never been to Loretto, but this is a great opportunity to be a guest at our Ronival event. It's another project launch for Mantarraya, which is the first full ownership condominium project inside of Danzante Bay. Danzante Bay is developed by the Via del Palmar group, so a very well-established hotel group for the past 30 years. And they are, they have the Via del Palmar Loretto Danzante Bay Hotel, where you can stay and there's special discounts. And so once again, email me, nick@ronival.com, and I can get you the discount code. You can book your stay. It's going to be a whole weekend, U.S. President's Day weekend, February 17th, which is a Friday, through the whole weekend. And on that Saturday, the 18th, is when we're going to have the actual event. The rest of the weekend, we really are leaving it open for anyone that comes to that 18th event to partake in the golf, the outdoor activities, just the beauty that surrounds Danzante Bay. So it's a great opportunity for your listeners to do an event in January and also do an event in February.
And get to know Loretto, which
absolutely
is beautiful. It's
And
such a different vibe from Cabo.
And I've heard great things about that golf course. I mean, I've had so many people just tell me it's amazing. I haven't had the opportunity yet. Maybe I'll take that opportunity to do it.
Yes.
But I've heard incredible things about it. Awesome.
Well, maybe you both can come on out and we can do our February real estate update.
At the
Cabo Mil.
event.
Yeah.
Well, I heard that you're going to fly us on the Ronival jet from, right? You have a private plane now, right? I mean, you've been
It's a
doing so
helicopter.
well the last couple of years. I heard from a friend of mine that you also have, or is it? It's a helicopter, isn't it? It's the Ronival helicopter.
That is a joke. It's not a joke. It's a rumor that started that Ronival has a helicopter. We do not have a helicopter.
That is a rumor?
It's
It
not,
is a rumor.
it's not true.
It's not
They
true.
We are breaking the fake news here.
I thought that was your yacht out in there that had the helicopter on it. Did you see the yacht out there that was?
I wish, Korey. I wish.
Soon. Give
It's
a
coming.
couple
It's
years.
coming, Nick.
Give 'em a
It's
couple
coming.
years.
All right. Well, the drive, since you're not going to fly us up to Loretto, the drive is very nice as well. So it's a beautiful drive. You want to take your time, but it's so beautiful. I recommend.
Well, what's interesting, Korey, I was at a dinner last night and someone came up to me, and this is an American permanent resident in Los Cabos for the past 3 years. And he's seen the growth. He lives in El Tezal, and he's seen the growth. He sees the increase in traffic. There's both good and bad that come with that. And he understands from coming from the States that this is going to happen. It's the natural evolution of real estate. And he said, back home in the States, we had our primary residence, and then we had a getaway place. So Nick, where should be our getaway place from Los Cabos? And so I was talking about these places, and Mantarraya was one of them. And for him and his wife, it was in the States, anything 3 to 4 hours drive, right? And he said, I could extend that because we're not working anymore. And so to go away for a weekend, I don't have to wait till I finish work before I take that drive. So I see those areas, whether it's La Paz, Loretto, East Cape, Todos Santos, and everything in between, just continually growing. We've already seen a tremendous amount of growth the last few years.
An area that I've just been noticing and literally I've noticed it the last 6 months, Cerritos. It is just exploding. It used to be that the old hotel was the last thing you would see, and then that was it. And now the hotel is kind of like in the middle of everything that is happening.
It's all incredible.
Do you have any comment on Cerritos?
Yeah, it's a great area. I was talking about that area last night also. It was such a sleepy surf village, and it's exploded with a ton of condominiums, and we're very involved there. We have several agents that live in the area, whether Cerritos or Pescadero, Todos Santos, and we as a company saw all this development going on, a lot of it us being responsible for, and it's still dirt roads, and that's good and bad, right? But those dirt roads need to get maintained. And so a few months ago, Rocio and I decided as a company to maintain that road. And so we as a company are maintaining that road. So all the heavy machinery, the trucks, we're sending out machinery to level it, every few months. And so super important. But also, if you're interested in that area and you don't want a condominium, we just released 2 projects that are single family home communities in Cerritos. Vista Sol, 2-bedroom houses starting under 300. Incredible.
Awesome. Still great opportunity, because it's right at that point where you'll get in early enough to get the great deal before it becomes more saturated. That's
Remember,
a great place.
Claudia, we kept talking about how ubiquitous Ronival is. Everywhere we go in the Baja, there's a Ronival office, right? I was driving in Cerritos last week, and I see this sign, "This road maintained by Ronival Real Estate." And I was like, he's everywhere. He's in everything. Like, wow.
Yeah, awesome.
Anyway, it's awesome. But I have to say, Nick, I bought a piece of property from you, I think 2.5 years ago now, almost. And my house is my casita is almost done. So it's getting there. But it's in La Huerta, which is another little development that's right around the corner from Cerritos. And it's the amount of construction going on. It's just amazing. When we bought 2.5 years ago, there was nothing there. Yeah. Now I think there's almost 20 homes. And I mean, it's amazing. And there's a pool, there's an Olympic-sized pool there. There's a restaurant there. It's incredible what's going on in Cerritos and then Pescadero, which I highly recommend. And I think that's a great getaway from Los Cabos. It's only 45 minutes to an hour, depending on where you live in Los Cabos.
Yeah, no, it's a great area. And the last time I was at that project was over a year ago. So send me pictures. I'd love to see the progress.
I'll get you in my helicopter. I'll take you out.
It wasn't Ronival's helicopter. It was Korey.
It was Korey. It was Cabo Mil's helicopter.
Nice.
That's great. That's so funny.
What else? Anything else in the real estate world we should talk about, Nick? We have a few minutes left.
Yeah. I mean, I think if you're a buyer, I gave some advice earlier, but I would say depending on what your needs are, it might make sense as a buyer that you wait. And we do see some buyer clients waiting because they don't need a property now, right? They want something, they're just starting to look, and they want to get the most educated. And so that's why I think working with a real estate professional, they can cut that learning curve and that time, the mistakes that you're potentially walking into being uneducated. And so you might say, I am looking a year from now to purchase, so I need to do all my homework and all my studying. Well, you might cut that from 1 year to 6 months. And in that 6 months time savings, you can get and take advantage of an opportunity that you would have missed out on, right? And so there are, no matter what kind of a market, a down market, a stable market, a rising market, there are always opportunities. And it's very hard as a buyer to know what those opportunities are. So that's why the first bit of advice as a buyer, work with a real estate professional. And number two, if you're a seller in this market, also work with a real estate professional. The last 2 years, some sellers have thought, well, it's such a hot market, I could put it on my Facebook, on my Instagram, and I can sell it myself. And some did, right? I could put a for sale by owner sign on my front lawn and I can sell it myself. Well, those days I think they're gone. And it's going to be much more difficult to do that. And you're going to have to work with real estate professionals, real estate companies that have the marketing, that have the exposure and the database of clients to be able to sell in this market, just like a normal, regular real estate market.
One question for you, Nick, and this is from friends of mine who were here. They're looking at real estate. They ended up picking a agent to show them around.
Mm-hmm.
They were very specific in what they wanted.
Yep.
They want single story, 2-bedroom. They're no children, no grandchildren. So very specific in what they wanted, and they told them we can spend so much. Mm-hmm. So they get picked up for a tour. They're shown one property that actually meets the requirements because they don't want condo. That was another thing. They don't want a high rise or anything. And then the agent proceeded to show them like 6 different properties that were not the houses way above their price point, location. How do you, for somebody who doesn't really know Los Cabos, how can they avoid this type of negative experiences? Because at the end of the day, they got here really wanting to buy something, and that was such a bad tour. They said, we don't want anything, and we don't want to do it again.
That's too bad. Yeah, and when clients come down here, it's not just looking at property. Typically, it's vacation and a property. So when you dedicate a full day or 2 days to work with a real estate agent to look at properties, you want to be the most efficient and the most efficient with your time, right? And so the agent needs to listen to their buyer clients. So if a buyer client, your friends like that, my recommendation would be, before you go on tour, have the agent send you the list of properties you're going to go take a look at, and walk me through your thought process as a buyer agent, why you're showing me these properties. And so you have a clear indication that the buyer agent actually is thinking about what you express to them as your buying criteria. And
Nick, I'm gonna sorry to interrupt you. We're gonna keep you over the break, and we'll have you talk. So you can listen to the rest of this answer on Facebook Live. But I just want to thank you for being on the show again. We'll have you back next month. If you're only listening to us on 96.3 FM, which you should not be doing, you should check us out on Facebook Live. But we'll be right back after these messages. Stay with us.
Thanks for listening to this episode of the Nick Fong Podcast. Make sure you subscribe to the podcast and the YouTube channel at youtube.com/Ronival Real Estate, and follow Nick on Instagram at NickFong_Ronival. Ready to find your Baja dream home? Check out the latest property listings at Ronival.com or findmexicohouses.com. Hasta luego.